Khamzat Chimaev just went on Ariel Helwani's show, and he had a very interesting interview, to be honest with you. He's talking about the state of his career, what's going to be next for him, and I'm going to give my response to all that because I'm actually quite frustrated with Khamzat Chimaev. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. Before we get into it, I do want to say hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with too many YouTube channels. Let's talk about Khamzat Chimaev. So, of course, like I just said, he was on Ariel Helwani's show talking about... Here's my problem, okay? I'm not going to talk about what he talked about yet. Here's my big problem with Khamzat Chimaev. He came into the UFC, and he was being promoted, and this isn't just the UFC's fault, okay? You could argue that the UFC's promoted him this way, and that's the problem, okay? But it's not. Khamzat Chimaev promoted himself alongside the UFC as the guy who would step in on short notice to fight anybody. The guy who would truly say yes to anybody in the division. He'd fight at multiple weight classes, and he would fight very, very often. He's more than capable of doing this. I understand at the beginning of his career, he was very ill, so that's a different story. I'm talking about now. He's healthy. Why are we talking about him fighting in almost a year since his last performance? Why? And he's still talking like, oh, the UFC offered me Covington, the UFC offered me Alex Pereira. Like, no, the UFC didn't offer you Alex Pereira. You're not fighting Alex Pereira. You can fight Alex Pereira. But why, like, I don't understand why you just won't say yes to any fight and just be like anybody in the division right now. Like, Belal Muhammad is doing better in the welterweight division, playing the game that Khamzat Chimaev came in to do. I will say yes to anybody. I will fight anybody. Why is he being picky with his fights? And it's fine if he wants to be picky, but don't advertise yourself the way that you are. I get so excited when Khamzat Chimaev fights, and I absolutely love the idea that when he first came to the UFC, he fought back-to-back and then wanted to fight often. It was incredible. I'm on the hype train. I could not wait to see him. It's not my favorite fighter ever, but still very, very exciting as a UFC fan myself. If Chimaev gets his next fight, no matter what it is, I'll be hyped for it. It's just so frustrating and such a bother as a fan to sit here and watch him talk and talk and talk and talk, and I don't see him in the Octagon. He's still playing this character, but he's not being that character. And you know what? Maybe it's not even a character. Maybe it's who he is. Still, you need to get in there, and you need to start fighting people. You can take on anybody in that division. You can take on anybody at middleweight. If you're talking about fighting in two weight classes, there are a lot of free opponents for you to take on. Obviously, welterweight's a little bit contested right now, but what about this whole time since he fought Kevin Holland? You took no damage in that fight. You've taken no damage in any of your fights besides Gilbert Burns. You are more than capable of stepping in. So if you're talking this much, why aren't you fighting? I'm sure the UFC will be more than happy to sign you. Any fight. You're becoming quite the draw. Honestly, you could have him fight somebody unranked, and I'm sure Khamzat Chimaev would still bring in people. You could put it on a pay-per-view. Bo Nickel wants to fight somebody. You want to put those skills to the test. I understand the UFC might get in the way of that one. Perhaps that was a bad example because they're trying to hype up Bo Nickel. But still, anybody. There are so many people who would take these fights. You don't think Robert Whittaker would take a fight against you? You don't think Robert Whittaker would sign against Khamzat Chimaev? He wants to fight the champions. He wants to fight the top contenders. Oh, all of a sudden, Robert Whittaker is too nice of a guy. You know what I mean? Why are you saying no to this stuff? Why aren't you bringing these ideas to the table? All he wants to do is say that he wants to fight for a title. There's no way he's going to fight Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira is booked, and that doesn't make sense. You could throw him into a title fight, but still, he is in no position to just call for the title fights right now, unless it's at welterweight. Leon Edwards, call out for Leon Edwards, and he's done so a little bit, but still, why are we talking about Colby Covington? And why are we talking about, oh, yeah, I think I'll fight at middleweight, I think I'll fight at welterweight? He's still unclear on what division he's going to fight in. Why not both? Like you were saying, if you can't make the weight, just say you can't make the weight. Sign against Robert Whittaker. Fight Robert Whittaker. I just want to see this dude fight anybody. Because, and I'm not hating, okay? I'm not being a hater right now. I get so excited when the guy fights. It's just frustrating as a fan of the UFC to constantly just see him, oh, this guy's ducking me, that guy's ducking me. Like, perhaps some people are ducking you. But still, you can find a fight so easily, especially if you're a guy who wants to step in at any day's notice. You'll sign a fight anytime. He needs to do a little bit better. The UFC needs to do a little bit better, and I don't know who exactly is at fault for it if the UFC wants to just spend some time promoting him, but I don't imagine that's the case. Khamzat Chimaev seems to be the issue. He is not living up to the character that he keeps saying that he is online. I just want to see him fight. He is an incredible talent, and I do not want to see, just like what we saw with Colby Covington, I do not want to see such potential and such a prime wasted. I don't want to see that. I want to see him fight. I'm excited when he fights. I want to leave it up to you guys. Let me know what you think about Khamzat Chimaev down below. Am I right? Am I overreacting? Or should I just stay quiet because it's not me? I'm just a guy sitting at my desk after all. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you are interested, I have a full card breakdown for the UFC fights this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. I can't wait if you're interested to see what I have to say about Corey Sandhagen versus Marlon Vera and multiple other fights. Every single fight on the card, it will be there for you right now. Also, I have another video talking about whether Jon Jones can win at heavyweight against the rest of the contenders, who can beat Jon Jones at heavyweight. That video will also be there for you to watch if you are interested. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I will see you in the next video. Take care.